What if I told you that behind the sparkling vampires and forbidden romance lies a dark empire? A secret supernatural government that has ruled the vampire world for almost 3,000 years. Led by three immortals whose powers are so terrifying that even other vampires whisper their names in fear. They are the Volturi, the true monsters of the Twilight universe. Before we dive into their origins, powers, wars, and the truth behind their rule, make sure to subscribe to More Vampires, hit like, and leave a comment for the algorithm. Now, let's step into the shadows of Volterra. Long before the Cullens existed, centuries before modern civilization, three vampires rose from ancient Europe to build the most powerful coven in history. The Volturi began around 500 AD. Caius and Marcus met as young immortals searching for purpose in a chaotic world where vampire clans ran wild. Back then, there were no laws, no order, and certainly no secrecy. Vampires exposed themselves, created armies, and massacred entire villages. It was a world on the brink of exposing the entire species to humanity. Oro, ambitious and cunning, saw an opportunity. He realized that if vampires were ever going to survive, they needed a government, a ruling body, a force powerful enough to impose order. Together, the three founded what would become the Volturi regime, built not on democracy, but on fear, intelligence, and overwhelming power. Let's meet the leaders. First, we have Oro, the mind collector. He is the heart and the brain of the Volt. He appears gentle on the surface, but is ruthlessly calculating underneath. His power is terrifyingly simple. If you touch his hand, he can read every thought you've ever had, every memory you hold, every secret you keep instantly. But Oro wanted more than just his own gift. Throughout history, he sought out vampires with rare and powerful abilities, adding them to the Volturi-like strategic pieces in a grand, immortal chess game. To Oro, power isn't just useful. Power is beautiful. He's the ultimate collector. Next is Caius, the executioner. Where Oro is subtle and strategic, Caius is brutal and direct. He possesses no supernatural gift of his own, but he more than compensates with an iron will and an insatiable taste for violence. Caius despises werewolves, scoffs at the idea of mercy, and almost always pushes for extermination over diplomacy. He is the one who ensures that Volturi justice is swift, final, and incredibly bloody. He is the muscle and the fury of the triad. Finally, there's Marcus, the weary oracle. Marcus possesses one of the most profound and powerful abilities in the entire Twilight universe. He can see the emotional and relational bonds between people and covens. He sees alliances, loyalty, love, betrayal, and political tensions as clear as day. But tragedy broke him. Oro, in a cold-blooded move to secure Marcus's loyalty, murdered Marcus's mate. Didymu was also Oro's own sister. Now, emotionally empty and living in a state of perpetual sorrow. Marcus remains a part of the triad, but his heart died centuries ago. His insight is crucial, but his spirit is gone. Together, these three form a perfect, terrifying balance: Aro's strategic brain, Caius's ruthless brutality, and Marcus's invaluable insight. But the leaders are only part of the equation. Beyond them, the Volturi possess the most gifted and deadly army in vampire history. Let's break down their powers. Aro's gift is total mind absorption. With a single touch, he receives every memory and can even read the minds of other mind readers. He can process decades of thoughts in an instant, making him the ultimate interrogator. No lie can escape him. Caius's gift is the power he wields through fear. He has no special ability, but he commands the guard, enforces executions, and pushes for aggressive policies. His influence is political and military, not supernatural. He is the enforcer who keeps the vampire world in line through sheer intimidation, and Marcus's gift of bond perception makes him a living vampire radar. He can see the connections that hold covens together or tear them apart. This is absolutely essential for maintaining control and sniffing out rebellions before they even start. Then there's their elite guard, a collection of supernatural weapons. Jane can inflict unbearable, imaginary pain with just a look. Her twin brother Alec can shut down all five senses, creating total sensory deprivation and leaving his victims completely helpless. Dimitri is the greatest tracker in the vampire world. Once he has the tenor of your mind, you can never escape him. And Renata acts as Aro's personal shield, a bodyguard who can repel any physical threat before it gets close. Together, the Volturi and their guard are a nearly unstoppable force. From their ancient city of Volterra, Italy, the Volturi operate as a global supernatural government. Their entire system is built on three fundamental laws. First, vampires must remain a secret from humans. Second, creating and using newborn armies is strictly forbidden. And third, the creation of immortal children is illegal, punishable by death for both the child and its creator. They operate like the vampire version of the Vatican, the United Nations, and a brutal dictatorship, all rolled into one. Their rule is absolute and based on fear, not votes. When the Volturi visit a coven, it's never a casual social call. Someone is either about to be punished or someone gifted is about to be added to their collection. For nearly 2,000 years, no coven dared to challenge them. That is, until the Cullens came along. So why are they so unbeatable? First, their powers are unmatched. With Jane and Alec alone, they could defeat entire armies without breaking a sweat. Second, they use strategy, not just brute force. Aro never enters a fight unless he knows he has already won. He gathers information, assesses threats, and stacks the deck in his favor. Third, they literally rewrite history. They have destroyed countless covens over the centuries and erased them from the world's memory. Fourth, they control the flow of information. No vampire becomes powerful without Aro noticing. And fifth, they strike first. If a coven grows too large, too gifted, or too ambitious, the Volturi pay them a visit to neutralize the threat. To the rest of the vampire world, the Volturi aren't just rulers, they're inevitable. But the Volturi didn't rise to power peacefully. Their empire was forged in blood and war. One of their earliest conflicts was the Roman Coven War. The Volturi systematically destroyed an older, more powerful coven to seize control of Italy and establish their dominance. Then came the Immortal Children Purge, led by Caius. This was one of the most brutal campaigns in vampire history. They annihilated entire covens who had created immortal children, regardless of their intentions. This tragic event is what traumatized the Denali sisters and cemented the Volturi's harshest law. They also fought the South American Wars. For centuries, the continent was plagued by chaos caused by rival newborn armies, leading to mass destruction and threatening their secrecy. The Volturi had to intervene repeatedly, executing hundreds of vampires to restore order. But their greatest victory was the war against the Romanian Coven. The Romanians once ruled the vampire world. But the Volturi, with their newly collected, gifted guards, crushed them completely. Only 2 members of the Romanian leadership, Stefan and Volodymyr, survived, and they have spent centuries forever seeking revenge. Each war, each victory made the Volturi stronger. Every fallen coven became another cautionary tale, a warning to any who might dare to defy them. The Volturi are not just simple villains. They are the complex, tyrannical backbone of the Twilight universe. They are a vampire empire built on centuries of strategy, fear, and unparalleled supernatural dominance. From their tragic origins to their terrifying powers, they remain one of the most fascinating and formidable vampire governments ever created in modern fiction. If you enjoyed this deep dive into vampire lore, don't forget to subscribe to more vampires. Hit that like button and tell us in the comments, who is your favorite Volturi memberaro, Caius or Marcus? Thanks for watching.